I'm Sam from Seeing Through Glass, and today I'm in the 2016 Ferrari 488 GTB. This car has very kindly been lent to us by Fast Toys Club, who are a car club rental here in Los Angeles. They also have a base in San Francisco, and they threw me the keys to this weapon a little early this morning, and I'm already in love. Something you need to know about me, if you don't already know it, is that I am a Ferrari obsessive. And so that any chance to jump into a car with a prancing horse on the steering wheel or on the car is always a special occasion for me. But to jump into a car which is as revolutionary as this is super, super exciting. Now, the reason this car is so revolutionary is it is twin turbocharged. So apart from the F40, just the F40? Anyway, skipping past that. This is at least one of the first modern supercars that Ferrari have turbocharged. So gone is the naturally aspirated V8. It is now a 3.9 litre twin turbocharged V8, putting out 660 horsepower and doing 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. This thing is outrageously fast on public roads. I can only imagine what it must be like on track. It is outrageous the way this thing performs. Of course, one of the sort of main talking points about this car, and maybe the controversial point about this car, is the sound. Whenever you turbocharge a car, the sound is always going to change over a naturally aspirated car, and a lot of people have been saying this doesn't sound like a Ferrari, but I am a Ferrari obsessive, and all I can say is this car sounds awesome. Yes, it is different, but it is so loud and the tone is still so good. And you get that turbo whoosh, which just makes all of these cars, I think, sound more futuristic, more modern. And the thing that has blown me away about this car is turbo lag is non-existent. How they can get a turbo-powered car performing like this blows my mind. There is torque available every single time you want it. No matter where you are in the rev range, no matter what you're doing, there is torque. It is just an unbelievable powertrain. And as I say, it has got all the sound and character that you want from the prancing horse. But really, the biggest thing about any Ferrari, if you haven't been lucky enough to ever drive a Ferrari, which I really wasn't until very recently, the most mind-blowing thing is the steering, the turning, the rate of turning. This thing is so precise, you could literally drive it with the edges or the tips of your fingers and it just goes where you want. Doesn't matter how quick you're going, it will be there. I have not yet found any sign of understeer. Arguably I'm on a public road, but it is just, it's hard to get used to. It's really like, it's just mind-blowing, the steering in this thing. We have a convenient traffic light, so I can quickly stop driving and talk to you about the interior and what it's like to be in this car, because one of the most amazing things about the 488 or the 488 is how easy it is to live with. I think by adding the turbos, they've made the performance much more subdued at low revs. It is one of those things that you can just cruise around, valves closed, the steering is so light and supple, and the car just feels comfortable. It literally feels so relaxing and so easy to drive, and that is mind-blowing when you're in a Ferrari. Don't get me wrong, it is very low and it's quite wide. You have these massive front wheel arches and it is a little intimidating, but as soon as you get used to it, it is just the perfect daily car. And how ridiculous to say that about a Ferrari. Inside is very nice. We have here some very nice tan sport seats. You can go very extreme, of course, have bucket seats, you can have Alcantara, all of these different things. This is a slightly more luxurious setup. You've got carbon fiber where you need it. It is very driver focused. The entire driver area, all the screens, all the controls are pointed towards the driver. The passenger is just here to hold on for dear life and try and survive the ride. And realistically, Ferraris have to be about the drivers, because it is all about this driving experience. And when you are done cruising around town, you get out to a road like this, oh, and the performance, I mean, it's almost too much for public roads. This thing is so quick, it is outrageous. I still have not, I think, gone over about 50% throttle in this thing. Oh, it is unreal, and you can probably hear some squeaking brakes there. Characteristic of some Ferraris, these carbon ceramics that they put on, once you heat them up, they are really, really working, but then it means at lower speeds they start to squeak a little bit, but it's something you get over because the stopping power is silly. We also can touch on the gearbox, 7-speed dual clutch. It is so quick. Literally, you blink and you change gear. It's buttery smooth. When you're in race mode, it gives you a lovely kick in the back to remind you that you're changing gear, but anything else, sport or wet, it is just the easiest, most comfortable gearbox I've ever driven. And these massive gear shifter paddles, and it's just whenever you want it, there's the gear. Which gear do you want? You want second gear? Have it, there's it is. You want third gear back? There you go, you can have that too. The only time I've had any jerk is in first gear. If you're coming down into first gear, sometimes it's a bit like but it is just a marvel of engineering and technology, this thing, and I've fallen in love with it. I've absolutely fallen in love with it. I think that this car is a hypercar. It's an ultimate supercar. Where Ferrari go from here, or where you would go as an owner of a 488, I do not know, because I can't see how you'd improve on this. God knows what their sort of, you know, racetrack variant will be, the Speciale or the Scuderia or the Challenge version of the 488, because oh, it is mind-boggling already.